For a long time, intelligence was thought to be genetically determined. You were either born brilliant or weren't. According to new research, this is not the case, and our brains are significantly more elastic than previously thought, capable of constantly remodeling themselves and adapting to environmental changes. A concept known as neuroplasticity. As a result, the activities we perform and the situations we expose ourselves to daily can make us smarter. While different cultures have varied definitions of what it means to be smart, from quick-wittedness to straight A's to emotional sensitivity, intelligence typically refers to the capacity to learn, retain, and apply information in new or difficult circumstances, all of which can be trained. The brain is like any other muscle in your body. If you don't use it, you lose it. Here are some daily habits to become smarter every day by nourishing your intellect. 1. Learn people's behavior and be selective. Smart individuals are understanding in their own manner, taking into account factors such as their colleagues' motivation, their viewpoint on a project, and the degree of assistance they require. Try to comprehend the conditions of others around you. It will require significant intellectual effort, but in the long term, you will have improved social skills and will be able to make sound judgments, especially when other people are involved. Once you learn the behaviors of the people around you, you might realize that smart people tend to have fewer friends, but they compensate for this with deep and real friendships. Those you spend time with, particularly your loved ones, mirror your own identity and needs, helping you toward a better knowledge of yourself and the world around you. Invest the time to really get to know the people around you, and choose the ones to spend your time with and those that are better kept at a distance. 2. Give yourself some time to think by having short breaks. If you're easily sidetracked from one thing to another or unable to grasp the underlying meaning of the information acquired, the practice of pausing to reflect on what you've learned is not only extremely useful, it is an essential element of the learning process. Brains can burn out from information overload, and even quicker in the digital age. Being aware of what is going on everywhere and at all times isn't necessarily a positive thing. That is why even a quick break may help you stay creative and avoid cognitive exhaustion. When you take the time to reflect, you have the opportunity to analyze all of the circumstances that may have a direct or indirect relationship to what you're doing. The same goes for reading. When you take pauses after a long stretch of reading, you will assimilate what you have read better. So, take a brief stroll, meditate, exercise, or do some housework to give yourself a mental break. 3. Fill your body with better fuel. A smarter mind starts with a healthy body. Learning the best fuel for your body can transform it into a well-oiled machine. In school, our teachers would always advise us to eat well the night before and the morning of a big test. They wanted to make sure you were fresh and had the stamina needed to work for hours on end without a break. Our brains are energy hogs. Despite making up only 2% of the body's weight, they consume over 20% of our energy, more than any other organ. The brain is a picky eater. It demands a constant supply of glucose and fat, specifically unsaturated good fats, to stay in tip-top shape. The best starting point should involve superfoods: avocados, salmon, dark leafy greens, and nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and hazelnuts. Each of these are packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and omega-3 fatty acids, essential for fighting off brain fog and memory loss. Other brain-boosting foods to incorporate in your diet include olive oil, dark chocolate, blueberries, beetroot, turmeric, matcha green tea, and coffee. Starting your day with a healthy breakfast will keep you energized and able to go the extra mile in everything you do. If you feel like garbage, you're not going to want to push yourself to excel. To keep things interesting, you can always find healthy eating recipes on the internet. Make sure your diet is full of fruits, vegetables, and various proteins so you hit the ground running each and every day. 4. Move your body. Along with eating healthy, keeping your body healthy is of utmost importance if you want to improve your overall well-being. If your body is physically weak, you won't really be apt to push yourself mentally. Take the time each day to get up and move, even if you only have a short period of time. Use the stairs instead of the elevator, or park your car at the far end of the lot to up your step count. The neuroscience is clear. People who exercise regularly have higher IQ scores and are generally more productive than their sedentary counterparts. No matter your fitness level, doing 30 minutes of physical activity a day can do wonders for your brain because it releases feel-good chemicals such as dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, all of which lead to less stress, sharper focus, and more energy. Exercise also increases the amount of oxygen that reaches your prefrontal cortex, the region of the brain responsible for decision-making and impulse control, helping you to better reach your goals. 5. Interact, socialize, and seek out interesting people. Scientific evidence suggests that engaging in social interaction can lead to enhanced brain performance. One study even found that larger social networks had a greater protective effect on cognitive function among elderly women, warding off neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia. Fresh faces and unfamiliar ideas in a dynamic group setting force us to think on our feet and exercises key cognitive processes like memory, comprehension, and theory of mind, the ability to attribute mental states to others. Socializing also presents an opportunity to harness the so-called protege effect, where the act of teaching a concept to someone else actually reinforces your understanding and retention of that concept. The internet has made communicating with interesting people incredibly easy. If you've ever spent time watching videos on TED, you know there are people out there who have incredible ideas and visions for our world. These people are, well, people just like you. Reach out to the people who have inspired you. They might be busy and may or may not respond, but if they do, it could lead to a mind-expanding dialogue with limitless possibilities. 6. Share and apply your knowledge. There really is no point in learning something if it doesn't inspire you to improve. Think of reading an advice column. If you don't actually take the advice, you really just wasted the time it took to read the article in the first place. When you take the time to learn something, you should take the extra step to learn how to use that information. If you play guitar and read an article about music theory, pick up your guitar and put your newfound knowledge into practice. You never know when you're headed toward a breakthrough unless you take action to get there. Before reading or learning to do something, ask yourself, how will I use this new knowledge? The best way to use your knowledge is by sharing it. Learning something new is important, but sharing that knowledge with others makes what you've learned actionable and meaningful. Just like we have the ability to take in knowledge easily through the use of smartphones and the internet, we also have the ability to share this information with our friends, family, and even complete strangers around the globe. Use your social media to share the interesting stories you've just read. If you find something that interests you, share it with the world. You might end up establishing new connections that could last a lifetime. 7. Get out of your comfort zone. There's a lot to be said about the power of routine in cementing smart habits, but maximizing your cognitive potential also requires some degree of novelty and unpredictability lest we become stagnant. Novel doesn't necessarily mean outlandish. Rather, it means pushing yourself to do things differently from how you've always done them. That might be brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, switching up your playlist, ordering food from a new restaurant, or taking a different route to work. By venturing outside your comfort zone, your brain responds with heightened senses and neuroplasticity, helping to trigger a kind of flow state, a state of effortless creativity and complete immersion in an activity. If you've just learned a new song on guitar, play it for a group of friends, then play it for a group of your peers, then play it in front of a crowd. As you push the boundaries of your comfort zone, you'll find yourself expanding as well. Learn to be okay with being nervous and afraid. If everything was easy to do, nothing would be worth the effort. Soon, what was once a frightening experience may become an energizing one. By learning to push your expectations of yourself, you will learn how to handle your limits and challenges in the process. If everything is easy, it isn't because you are just too awesome. It is because you are not really pushing yourself to grow. Calvin Coolidge says all growth depends upon activity. There is no development physically or intellectually without effort, and effort means work. If you want long-term success, stop avoiding what's hard. Build good habits to become smarter. Be a little more conscious each day, practice good habits, and you can achieve more than what you might expect. As a token of our appreciation for sticking with us up to the end, here's our bonus tip for you. Question: don't assume. Questioning things doesn't make you a skeptic, it makes you smart. Rather than subscribing to conventional wisdom, keep your eyes and mind open to other possibilities. In today's world of scrolling through feed after feed, it seems like there is a flood of false and inaccurate information. Don't believe everything you see and read. Question it. Chances are you will learn something new. Questioning and curiosity are the two strongest powers of intelligent people. It keeps their minds sharp and full of accurate and useful information. Don't believe us? Give all of this a try and see for yourself. Soon, it will be you telling your friends how to improve their lives. See you in the next video at Lux Diva, the place to dream, learn, and improve your life.